Hey everyone! Today we're exploring another chilling and disturbing case. If you'd like to support the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay engaged. It really means a lot. I truly appreciate it. Now, take a deep breath and let's dive in. When the pink suitcase exploded, it wasn't just a tragedy, it was a message. And the person who packed it was the last one she ever trusted. On July 9th, 2023, flight attendants at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport were doing final checks on a morning flight to Denver. Among the crew, Monica Bell, 31, smiling, nervous, hopeful. By 8:47 a.m., she was dead. A blast rocked the baggage compartment beneath the aircraft. Passengers screamed, and Monica never even made it to her seat. But as the investigation unraveled, what they found wasn't just a bomb. It was betrayal in its most horrifying form. Monica had lived a life most people wouldn't survive. Former addict, estranged from her family for years, in and out of jail for petty theft and fraud. But by 2022, she was rebuilding. She had landed a job with a regional airline. She was going to therapy, and she had fallen in love with a man who told her God had sent her to him. His name? Pastor Evan Giles. Evan wasn't just any man. He was a popular televangelist in Florida. Charismatic, powerful, married. Monica thought she was his second chance. But Evan had other plans. 3 months before the explosion, Evan took out a $750,000 life insurance policy on Monica. He told her it was to protect their future. But the policy listed him, and only him, as the beneficiary. It raised no flags, because Monica had no idea. She told friends she was flying to Denver to start a new life. What she didn't know was she wouldn't make it past the jet bridge. The FBI found 3 key clues that changed everything. The suitcase, a pink, hard-shell case Monica never owned, traces of explosive materials, and a crude triggering device. Surveillance footage. Evan personally handing over the suitcase at check-in, then walking away, alone. The insurance tip-off. An anonymous call just 2 hours after blast. Check the preacher. He packed the bomb. But there was more. Inside the suitcase was a handwritten note, a goodbye letter, signed M. At first glance, it looked like Monica had written it herself. But forensic analysis told a different story. The fingerprints were not hers. They were Evan's. Investigators soon discovered disturbing layers. Evan had wired $15,000 to a known felon 3 weeks before the incident. He preached purity while living a double life, cheating, lying, and manipulating vulnerable women. His actual wife, she thought Monica was just a troubled church member. But the most chilling twist? Monica's half-sister, Trina, was involved too. Phone records revealed dozens of late-night calls between Trina and Evan in the days leading up to flight. One text from Trina, just 24 hours before the blast, read, "It has to look like she brought it herself. I'll make sure she doesn't ask questions." Monica's mother, Deborah, collapsed when she heard the news. But her heartbreak turned to fury when she discovered her daughter's death wasn't random. "I begged her to stay away from that man." She said he made her feel loved. He made her feel chosen. But he chose money over her life. The FBI arrested Pastor Evan 3 weeks later. He claims he's innocent, says he's being spiritually attacked. And Trina? She vanished the night before Evan's arraignment. But here's the twist. 5 years earlier, a different woman died in a similar explosion. Different city, same suitcase. And the beneficiary? Still, Pastor Evan Giles. 5 years before Monica Bell was killed, another woman died under almost identical circumstances. Her name was Chelsea Ward, and her case? Silently buried until now. The parallels were undeniable. Same cause of death, suitcase bomb. Same payout, large life insurance policy. Same person who walked away untouched, Pastor Evan Giles. So, how did he get away with it once, and nearly again? The answer lies in a trail of cover-ups, corruption, and a woman whose cries for help were ignored until it was too late. In 2018, Chelsea Ward, 29, was a bright, ambitious Sunday school teacher from Tallahassee, Florida. She was engaged to a godly man, a rising local pastor who swept her off her feet after she joined his ministry. That man, Evan Giles. Chelsea's friends describe her as pure-hearted, a rule follower, and too trusting for her own good. She told him Evan was different from other men. He prayed over her, promised her a future, and even began planning a church wedding. But something wasn't right. Chelsea had confided in her cousin 2 weeks before her death. He's asking me to sign papers. I don't understand something about mutual coverage and travel insurance. But why would I need that? I'm not even traveling. Days later, Chelsea planned to visit her grandmother in Jacksonville. Her fiancé Evan offered to pack her things so she could rest. He insisted she take the new luggage he bought her. Pink, just like Monica's, she never arrived in Jacksonville. Chelsea's bus exploded just 14 minutes into the journey. At the time, the case was ruled as a malfunctioning engine fire. No one suspected foul play, no bomb squad, no insurance investigation, just a quiet burial and a closed casket. But Evan, he cashed out a $500,000 accidental death policy Chelsea didn't even know existed. When Monica's death hit the news in 2023, Chelsea's cousin contacted authorities and said, "I told the police 5 years ago that her death didn't make sense. I told them about the life insurance. They laughed me off." Turns out, Chelsea's case file was quietly closed after the engine fire theory was accepted, with no autopsy confirming it. The insurance payout was processed smoothly, and Evan's fingerprints? Nowhere near the luggage because he never boarded the bus. But there's more. An investigative journalist, digging into Evan's past, uncovered even more disturbing connections. 2016, a 25-year-old woman in his Bible study group died in a car explosion. Evan was dating her at the time. 2014, a newlywed woman from his first ministry died in a hotel fire. No charges. In both cases, no survivors. Evan listed as emergency contact. Life insurance policies, filed months prior. He called them accidents. The women never got the chance to disagree. Trina, the half-sister who vanished before Evan's trial, is now a key suspect. She was traced to Arizona using a fake ID. But the FBI believes she knows where the bomb-making materials came from in both Monica's and Chelsea's deaths. In a leaked call recorded in early 2023, Trina is heard saying, "He's done it before, but this time he promised I'd be part of the payoff." Evan sits in a federal holding facility, denying all charges. He continues preaching to inmates, calling himself a martyr of modern persecution. In court, he smirks, but prosecutors now call him America's most manipulative serial killer hiding behind a pulpit. In Monica's personal belongings, the FBI found a thumb drive. On it, dozens of recordings, conversations with Evan, and one chilling file, dated 4 days before her death, labeled, "If I Disappear." We haven't heard what's in that recording yet, but insiders say it could change everything, and might implicate one more person still preaching on the outside. The file was labeled, "If I Disappear," and when FBI finally played it, what they heard flipped the entire investigation on its head. After Monica Bell's tragic death in a suitcase bombing, authorities arrested Pastor Evan Giles. Then they connected him to another eerily similar case, Chelsea Ward's death 5 years earlier. But just when prosecutors thought they had their airtight case, a thumb drive was recovered from Monica's belongings, and on it was the one thing no one expected: her voice, her suspicions, her final confession. The audio recording begins with static. Then Monica's voice, quiet, shaky, determined. "If you're listening to this, something's happened to me." In the 14-minute file, Monica recounts chilling details. Evan convincing her to sign travel protection documents. His increasing obsession with purity pledges and eliminating temptation. His sudden insistence that she let him handle her luggage for Denver. And worst of all, he told me if anything ever happened to me, it would be God's will. But now I think he's planning something. She ends with one final name. "If something happens to me, look into Pastor Jonah Quinn." Evan answers to him. Jonah Quinn is a prominent megachurch leader based in Texas. Millions of followers, private jets, books on obedient faith. And Evan Giles, he was once his intern, then his protege, then his enforcer. After hearing the audio, the FBI launched a secondary investigation. They uncovered a network of spiritual manipulation, financial exploitation, and ritualistic control over women. Church whistleblowers claimed Evan and Jonah ran a private deliverance circle targeting fallen women. They rescued vulnerable women, then took out life insurance policies on them. Women who left the circle were labeled disobedient and often met tragic ends. One former member testified, "We were groomed to believe that death was just another form of purification." Trina Bell, Monica's half-sister, was located in Arizona after months on the run. To avoid life in prison, she flipped. In sworn testimony, she confirmed that Jonah Quinn had approved a hit on Monica. He called her a distraction to Evan's calling. The pink suitcase was purchased by church funds, but her most chilling confession? There were more names on the list. Monica wasn't supposed to be the last. Prosecutors used Monica's audio as the backbone of the trial. It was played in full to the jury. Some jurors cried. One walked out. Evan showed no emotion. Jonah? He denied everything. But just weeks before the verdict, another woman stepped forward. Her name was Serena Knox, a former member of Jonah's circle. She claimed to have survived an attempted drowning, disguised as a baptism, and in her hand, she held a second flash drive, one she said she stole from Jonah's private laptop. It contained emails between Jonah and Evan, discussions about insurance-approved sacrifice, blueprints of the bomb's assembly, but most damning, a hit list with 8 women's names. Monica was number 6. Pastor Evan Giles, guilty on all counts, sentenced to life without parole. Pastor Jonah Quinn, arrested and currently awaiting federal trial. Trina Bell, sentenced 18 years after plea deal. The church, shut down, property seized. Followers, devastated. Many still in denial. But the true damage was spiritual, psychological, unforgivable. She knew they were going to kill her, but she chose to leave a voice behind. And in doing so, Monica Bell saved more lives than she ever knew. The bomb was hidden in the luggage, but the truth was buried in blind faith, greed, and the twisted power of men hiding behind God. What began as a single suitcase bombing has now unraveled into one of the most horrifying spiritual abuse cases in modern history. 3 victims are confirmed. 5 more are suspected. And the deeper authorities dig, the more it's clear this wasn't just murder. It was a movement. We exposed Monica Bell, flight attendant, suitcase bomb victim. Chelsea Ward, Sunday school teacher, similar death 5 years earlier. Pastor Evan Giles, the man behind both deaths. Pastor Jonah Quinn, his spiritual mentor and now co-conspirator. But what we didn't reveal until now was the secret doctrine they preached behind closed doors. Jonah Quinn led a private, off-record ministry group called the Circle of Refinement. To outsiders, it was a discipleship program. But to insiders, it was something else. We were told that suffering purifies, that pain burns sin, that some women are chosen to die so others can live holy. Anonymous former member. In leaked sermons never aired to the public, Jonah preaches that women who fall into sin must be cleansed, that spiritual death sometimes requires physical sacrifice, that obedient men may be used as vessels of judgment. And according to court testimony, Evan Giles was his vessel. The USB recovered from Serena Knox in part 3 listed 8 women by initials, first names, and coded references. Monica and Chelsea were confirmed, but Part 4 uncovers 2 more victims. Victim 3, Nadine Nia Brooks, died in 2019, caused gas leak explosion in her apartment. Insurance policy for $100,000. Beneficiary, Faith Renewal Incorporated, a shell company tied to Jonah Quinn. Last texter friend, Jonah says my obedience will save the circle. I'm scared. No one ever investigated a gas leak. Victim 4, Tess Arlington, found drowned in her bathtub, ruled suicide. She was 4 months pregnant. The alleged father? Evan Giles. A week earlier, she posted cryptically on Facebook, "When God's voice sounds like your abusers, you start to wonder if either are real." That post was deleted, not by her, for names on the list remain unaccounted for. No death certificates, no social media activity, just silence. One of them is RK, believed to be Rachel Kessler, a 24-year-old intern in Jonah's media team. She vanished in 2021 after quitting to travel. Her family says she never boarded a single flight, and her phone, last ping, at a private retreat property owned by Jonah's ministry. Jonah Quinn is now on trial. He claims the USB is a fabricated attack by Satan. He denies knowledge of any deaths, and says the Circle Refinement was an elite prayer group, not a death cult. But former members paint a different picture. "We were brainwashed to believe obedience meant sacrifice. Some were told they were chosen to die, and they accepted it." That's the level of control he had. In a stunning development, prosecutors revealed that it wasn't just Jonah and Evan. A third key figure is being investigated. Reverend Carla Miles, Jonah's assistant pastor. She conducted the exit interviews for every woman who left the circle, and multiple women claimed that after speaking with Carla, they were either threatened, paid off, or vanished. Carla has denied involvement, but her name appears twice in insurance paperwork tied to victims. She was a notary. The families are demanding answers. Former churchgoers are burning Jonah's books. 2 satellite churches have shut down, but thousands of followers still believe in Jonah. One follower told reporters, "Even if he's guilty, it was still God's plan." As of today, the FBI has reopened 7 cold cases connected to the circle. Exhumations are underway, and a sealed journal belonging to Monica Bell was just decrypted. Inside it, a name no one expected. A woman who vanished in 2015. A woman authorities thought had nothing to do with this case. Monica's own mother, Deborah Bell. She begged the police to listen. She said her daughter was being used. But no one knew Deborah Bell had already survived the circle once. This chapter doesn't start with a death. It starts with disappearance. In 2015, Deborah Bell, Monica's mother, vanished for 6 months. No contact with her daughter. No trace of her church job. Then, just as suddenly, she reappeared quiet, broken, different. Everyone assumed she had relapsed. But her journal, found inside Monica's storage unit, told a very different story. One page read, "I thought I could escape God's wrath. I didn't know it was just Jonah's." The next 37 pages were filled with disturbing entries, descriptions of fasting punishments, mandatory confessions of sexual thoughts, repeated threats that the disobedient would be removed from God's path, and detailed notes about life insurance policies forced upon female members. Deborah Bell wasn't just a worried mother. She had been the circle's first target. Deborah had joined Jonah Quinn's original church in 2014 after a painful divorce. She was vulnerable, devout, and desperate for redemption. Jonah made her feel chosen, but soon she was isolated from family. She was told her daughter Monica was corrupted and a distraction from your cleansing. She was convinced to sign over power of attorney, a church faith tied in her will, and a $300,000 life insurance policy. Her scheduled refinement journey, a solo spiritual retreat in the mountains. Only she never made it. Deborah fled in the middle of the night, barefoot, bleeding from her feet. She told local police she had escaped a religious prison, but with no physical evidence. They dismissed her as mentally unstable. She was placed in a psychiatric ward for 72 hours. And when released, she never spoke of it again, until Monica died. Deborah later told a close friend, "They couldn't kill me, so they went after Monica instead." She believed her daughter's death was a message that she had broken the covenant, and now Monica was the price. That theory became even more chilling when the journal revealed a coded line, "One shall be given for one who ran." The date beside it, March 7, 2023, the day Evan bought Monica's plane ticket. FBI investigators now believe the circle taught a ritual known as the exchange. If a chosen vessel escaped, another had to be sacrificed, and the one to choose a new vessel, the last woman who tried to run, Deborah Evan Giles, life without parole. Jonah Quinn, awaiting trial for conspiracy to commit murder, insurance fraud, and spiritual abuse. Carla Miles, charged with aiding and abetting obstruction and document forgery. Trina Bell, serving 18 years. Deborah Bell, in protective care under 24-hour watch after a suicide attempt. Monica, Chelsea, Nadine, Tess, each believed they were finding salvation. Each ended up paying with their lives, and their stories wouldn't be known today. If Monica hadn't left that USB, if Serena hadn't run, if Deborah hadn't remembered, the bomb was hidden in luggage, but the motive was buried in theology, silence, and blind obedience. This wasn't just about religion, it was about power, and the women who finally shattered it. By speaking, even from the grave, the end, dedicated to the women who died believing they were saving others. If you or someone you know is in a controlling religious group or abusive faith community, help is available. Abuse in the name of God is still abuse. What are your thoughts on this case? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with more stories, where each case isn't just about crime, but also offers a lesson for life.